Alright lads, so it's another community reaction time. Yesterday I asked you lads, what are your thoughts about the 3 new characters, a new 1000-year blood war MENINAS, RANGIKU, and also YUMICHIKA. We got over 200 comments, so I doubt I'm going to be able to read them all on this video. But we're going to try and go through most of them. Before we do though, let me give my thoughts about the 3 new characters now that we've had around 24 hours to actually sit on a new release. So first up, I'm a big fan of MENINAS. I understand most of the disappointment from this banner comes from the fact that she's a Brave Battle character. I don't share that disappointment, understand that. Mostly from the fact that I always expected MENINAS to be a Brave Battle character. It just made most sense. Like if there was one character to be a Brave Battle character, it's the one that just all she does is punch. I know it's kind of a joke that she's not a power character, and I've seen way too many people angry over the fact that she's not power. Understand her attribute more so reflects the meta right now. Like she could have been a power human killer to directly counter Aaroniero, but then that would be the only thing she offers in the Brave Battle meta. Instead, by making her hot captain killer, it means she's always going to be good whenever there are captains irrelevant in the meta, which is more often than not. So she's designed to counter the current captain meta, but then given that she has persistence, a higher damage output than Aaroniero, and is also a melee character, she also in a way serves as a counter to Aaroniero, despite not having attribute and killer combinations. So I feel like they did a good job with MENINAS, given that she is a Brave Battle character. Although I understand that, yeah, she's a Brave Battle character, that instantly comes a disappointment. That's the case for any character whenever they get a Brave Battle character. I'm just not too upset because that's exactly what I expected. On the bright side though, since she's not using a Vo standing, that's something the anime does showcase. There's always a potential chance she gets a new character in the future that is an SP character, so there's potential hope for you MENINAS fans. RANGIKU's really cool. I'm glad that she's finally getting a new character. I love her 1000-year blood war design, and I was initially disappointed she wasn't included in last month's banner, which I think she should have been, to be honest. But yeah, overall like her character, especially given that she was the limit breaker character, although I definitely do feel like they could have made it a tad bit better. Let's be honest here, her strong attack here isn't really the greatest. It's not a deal breaker for me by any means. Like, she's definitely good enough to be used. Not like the best character in the game, but that's not really something I expected from RANGIKU, but it definitely would have been nice had she had a better strong attack here. And then YUMICHIKA, I mean, I'm just surprised he's even getting a 1000-year blood war character. That's something I never expected. He's alright, like I'm not like most excited for YUMICHIKA, but he definitely does offer something on my account, being a good character for the Squad 0 guild quest, which is something that I desperately do need. Right now, this particular guild quest phase doesn't have many options, so he definitely does fit into the game's meta. And all 3 of these characters combined in a banner, you know, there's some good value there, right? You have a good guild quest character for a week that needs it. You also have a good character, just someone to play around with if you like RANGIKU, and then you have MENINAS, the best Brave Battle character in the game, right? If you like the characters, if you like what they offer, then summon. If not, then don't. I kind of do, so I'll be doing maybe 10 or so steps, but definitely not going to go further than that, especially given that because it's these 3 characters in particular, they kind of just jumped around. Who knows what the next 1000-year blood war banner will be, right? Because they're not going in chronological order. We just got MENINAS. How close or how far are we from getting Giselle? That's what I want to know, because I want to save for Giselle. Next month, for all we know, we could get Kenpachi and Grammy. I doubt it, but the possibility is technically there, given that we just got these characters. So if anything, this kind of gets me excited for future 1000-year blood war banners, given that it could just be random characters put together. Hopefully though in the future they make more sense, because this is quite the random trio, I will say. Definitely not how I would have managed these characters in the game. MENINAS I would have put with the Bambis, you know, Giselle and Little Toto, and then RANGIKU again should have been included in last month's banner. And then YUMICHIKA, I mean, is cool and all. We don't entirely need a 1000-year blood war character for him, let's be honest, but I'm not going to complain about him getting a new character. With that said though, my ramble aside, let's have a look at what you guys have to say. Again, we have over 200 comments, so let's try and go through most of these quickly. Top comment, MENINAS is so random with RANGIKU and YUMICHIKA. I mean, yeah, definitely, right? Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Malik is saying the banner's cool. I like the characters, but they feel so randomly put together. I think we're definitely going to see a lot of comments say the same thing. Gambler Face says this really feels like a mid-month banner rather than an end of month. I can kind of see where you're coming from. Ultimately, any banner with 2 of the 3 banner characters being lieutenants is always going to feel like a mid-month, because that's how they treated all the mid-months the last couple or so years, right? When have we ever gotten like a good banner, an end-of-month worthy banner with lieutenants? It's very rarely ever happening. Lieutenants have definitely been getting sidelined as of late, so it's nice to finally get lieutenants that are actually good for the most part. Because from my knowledge, like canon characters only, the last time we had a good lieutenant character, was it Bankai Shuei? Like, when was the last time we had a good lieutenant canon form of a character? I genuinely can't remember. Rodri says, it's clear that many of the player base agrees that this was a random selection of characters. I'm on a mission to collect as many 1000-year characters as I can, so I'm going to be doing 5 to 10 steps for all 3. Now, something tells me BG9 and Soifon might end up being mid-month characters, and Sajin, Bambi, and Shinji will be showcased in April's end of month. I wouldn't be surprised if that's April's end of month. I can definitely see that, and that would definitely get me summoning. Man, would that be a hype banner. Bleach and Soifon though, again, I really don't want mid-month banners being 1,000 Year Blood War. We saw with Esnot and Byakuya, it's cool and all. I just don't want to see it. Like, even these 3 characters, right? As someone said, this feels like a mid-month banner. I would still rather them be end of month than mid-month, I'm gonna be honest. Why didn't they put RANGIKU in the last 1,000 Year Blood War banner? Obviously not with the same skills, but it would have made more sense. Definitely agree with that. I mean, if they were going to include RANGIKU in this banner, they should have at least put Bazz-B in the last banner. So, like, when are we going to get Bazz-B, you know? But then again, you know, they did RANGIKU now. There's a chance Bazz-B can get done later too. Yumichika GOAT, he unironically is actually a good character, so I don't blame you for saying that. I love the banner, but it's always cool to see characters like this getting much love as the big ones. That's one way to look at it, right? We have a lot of big characters coming our way. It's fine. I'm fine with these, like, lower tier characters getting some love. Menina is a start, but what about the other 2 Bambis? I'm also curious about that. Now, when it comes to the Bambis, right, we obviously have 5 characters, 5 Bambi characters. Now, Bambi should be put in a banner with Sergeant and also Shinji. So that basically left 4 of them, and I was always wondering who would be the one that gets left out. Who's the odd one out? I always thought it would be Candice because Candice fights, you know, Ichigo. Menina, Giselle, and Little Toto all have their moment together, so that would have made more sense to be them 3, and then it would have made more sense for Candice to be the odd one out. So maybe Menina being here means that a future battle will be Candice, Little Toto, and Giselle. If that's the case, then I'm kind of okay with Menina being here because one has to be left out. But we'll have to see how that does play out, right? Okay says, I feel like the banner isn't that much. People could summon for the character's sake, but it can be a skip. Mix of the fillers aren't good, but I feel like 5 steps is enough. Definitely the case here. I mean, I feel like this banner is definitely better than last month's end of month. Like, these characters actually offer something. But this is definitely one of those 1,000 Year Blood War banners where, like, it's not a down to 0 situation, right? Pull if you like the characters, pull if you need them. We'll understand, right? We all know, and we're going to keep saying the same names again and again. There's a lot of big banners coming our way in the future. This definitely feels like a filler 1,000 Year Blood War banner until we get to some of those big boys, which potentially could come out next month. Next end of month is actually Golden Week. April end of month usually is a big banner. Last year it was the Power Soul Burn the Wish characters. So I'm expecting another 1,000 Year Blood War banner, and I'm expecting it to at least include 1 or 2 big named characters. Next it says they're good but unexpected. Personally saving orbs, that's perfectly fair. So I guess we're getting Little Toto, Shuei, and Ikaku next. I don't expect Ikaku to get a character. One thing that was brought to attention, you know, I was kind of complaining, nitpicking more so that Yumichika's Soul Bomb doesn't have Ikaku. Since Ikaku's not there, it probably means that Ikaku's not getting a character right, because if he had a model, they would have included him. So I'm not expecting Ikaku. Plus, he just got a character recently too. Shuei also just got a character recently too. So, I mean, there's a chance we could get Ikaku and Shuei in the future, but definitely not anytime soon. Little Toto could be next month. Who actually knows? Not related to why I asked, when is Yuha coming back? Potentially in April. Most likely May. RANGIKU should have been in the previous end of month. We also have Tosha, Piranha, Soul Bomb, and Shuei and Ikaku should have been with Yumichika instead as their support characters. I'll be honest, Ikaku and Yumichika and Shuei in a banner, that's a mid-month. That's not even a mid-month. That shouldn't just be a thing in my opinion. But it is quite the random banner. This is a good sign that we're getting more and more stuns in the future. Might as well go for a few summons. Good way to look at it. Do these characters ever interact with each other in the arc? They don't. They don't. It's a very odd choice. I don't mind the 3 characters going to summon because of Yumichika, but why not take Aizen or even Power Yama as fillers? That's true, they've yet to be fillers. Hopefully next end of month, because you know, if they're gonna get put as a filler, right? Aizen and also Yamamoto, I want them to be in like a really good and hype 1,000 Year Blood War banner, right? So I don't mind them not being on this banner because I don't plan to go down to 0 or even 25 steps. But like, let's say next end of month. If next end of month is more hype, it includes like big named characters like, again, Bankai Shinji, Sergeant, Bambietta, just to throw a few names. I'd rather them be in that filler pool, if that kind of makes sense, right? Oscar says that there are so many things that annoy me, no power character at all. The selection of characters is random. We don't need a Brave Power character right now. Menina is not a power character, despite her ability being called power. Characters are good, but not as good. This isn't end of month treatment like Sangdu. Filler the trash, won't spend a single orb in this banner. That's definitely fair. Understand though, power characters. What? I understand we've all been desperate for a power character, right? That's coming next month. So if there's any reason to say for next end of month banner, literally next end of month banner is guaranteed to have a broken power character. At least one would hope, right? We all know every month we get a limit breaker character. Right now, power is next in line. But what we did see with RANGIKU is that just because you are a limit breaker character doesn't mean you're guaranteed to be the best character in the game. So hopefully next end of month, where we are guaranteed to get our power limit breaker character, they are more like Yuha and not so much like RANGIKU, if that kind of makes sense. Again, MENINA not being a power character isn't that big of a deal. It does seem like we are going to be getting a Brave Battle character like every 3 or so months. We kind of got a Brave Battle character around this time last year too with Ishin, so I wasn't surprised we got a MENINA. Probably our next Brave Battle character will be part 2 of the 8th anniversary. Hopefully not though. Like, if there's one thing, if part 2 of the 8th anniversary doesn't bring us a Brave Battle character, then I'll be more happy about MENINA existing right now, because then that means she kind of just took the shot for the second part of the 9th anniversary, right? I disagree with the statement that this isn't an end of month like Sangdu. I mean, these by all means are end of month characters, right? You have the best Brave Battle character in the game, you have a great Guild Quest character, and RANGIKU is overall a very solid end of month character. We aren't getting anything super broken, like no top 5 best character in the game, but not every banner has to give that. Monkey says, finally a 1000 model banner where the Quincy got the worst treatment. Yeah, in the way you can look at it like that. As the Brave Battle character, I guess it's finally nice that Soul Reaper's getting a bit of love, right? Because as of late, they've definitely been getting the short end of the stick. That RANGIKU art, easily one of the best in the game. The pose is so hard, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think RANGIKU's art would be looking as good, but damn, that is easily one of the best 1000 art that we have in the game. I love the fact that they're trying to do a bit of everyone in 1000 Year Blood War. If they gave us Yumachika with very little screen time, then let's expect anyone. I definitely agree with that. Also at the same time, if they do anything in the arc, like if they showcase one attack, that's potentially enough for them to get a character, because what we saw with Yumachika is that he did do that Hado attack, right? That's his soul bomb. We also see as his SA2. They basically made his whole kit, his whole character based around that one attack, so if you are a character in 1000 Year Blood War that showcases one simple attack, that's enough for you to get a character. Omaida, I'm gonna keep talking about him. He literally did nothing. He didn't even showcase a new attack. Probably not enough for him to get a new character, but anyone else probably will. Ikkaku didn't really do a new attack, so I don't expect him to get a new character. Because there's nothing to work with, they're not going to get it, right? Yumachika at least showcased one new ability, that being the Hado attack that he does. It just feels out of nowhere. It's like they put characters that were meant to be put in another banner, but I'm all for it. Love the Bambi so much. I'm also a big Bambi fan, or most of the Bambis, right? Again, would have much preferred had it been just Giselle, Lil Toto, and MENINA, but MENINA being there, then I definitely have to do a few summons just for her alone, right? And I kind of like, on a hot take, I kind of like Brave Battles. So I kind of want to get MENINA too, just for that. Dexter's saying, honest opinion, as much as it pains to say about a free character, 1000 Year Blood banner, this is clear as day and easy skip for good reasons. Mediocre filler, I mean, hopefully Kev can do something about that. I'm not going to lie. Like, every 1000 Year Blood banner besides end of year is always going to have bad fillers. They started to experiment and put premium characters and seasonal characters in the banner, but then, like, people hated on it, and then they kind of just stopped doing it. I still stand by that Ichibei banner having good fillers, and we should see more stuff like that. Hopefully we can get around to getting back to like that. Continuing on though, Yumichika is good, but why are we giving 1000 Year Blood units useless skills? DR on a Guild Quest leads? To be fair, to back this, I think the idea, because he has DR in place, it's a very weird skill for a Guild Quest lead, but I think the idea is that when you use that SA2, you're quite open to attacks, so him having DR and Drain means that he's taking less damage and can easily get back up to full stamina. At the same time, I don't mind him having DR because he's not really missing much. Like, as the character, he's perfectly fine. Sure, he could have been given another skill, but it doesn't make or break the character. So I don't really mind the DR on this character. If you have Safui Tosh, yes, you don't need him. But then again, Safui Tosh is a Safui character. It's never worth pulling on spirits after rebalanced anymore. So most people that are in need of a new good character for the Squad Zero GQ are going to be wanting someone like Yumachika, for example. So I don't mind more options. That's the main thing to look at it, right? There shouldn't always just be one good character for a GQ. There needs to be at least like 5 main characters. And right now, Yumachika is a good step in the right direction, having more leads. Alongside that, we also got the Fierce Battle Soifon. So right now, that Guild Quest went from having like 1 good lead, and Tosha wasn't really even the greatest, to be fair. He didn't really provide much crowd control, to now having 3 good leads in 3 different type of banners. You have a Safui character, a 1000 Year Blood War, and a premium character. So plenty of ways now to get a good lead for that Guild Quest. MENINA is basically a co-host of Orihime, which is the last thing PvP needs. Her killer does nothing for her outside of Brave Battles. When are we going to receive a ton of PvP units that are usable in GQ as well? I mean, ultimately, the only reason why Chad and Yuha was usable in Guild Quest is because they were boosters. So it's not like they were anything special or done anything different, but it might be a while before we see characters like Chad, like aka booster characters, because the meta right now in Brave Battles has all been about debuffs. Like right now we have 3 debuff characters that are all meta relevant in Brave Battles, so boosts aren't really getting much love. But to be fair, Orihime and also Yamamoto, our most recent Brave Battle characters, are also pretty good in GQ. I use Yama personally. MENINA could be good in Brave Battles, but she's a low stamina character, I will be honest, so it's not really ideal Plus, at the same time, Captain Week has a lot of competition, so not really much of a place for her in the Guild Quest meta. And then, yeah, Rangiku's kit is kind of bad, let's be honest. For a Limit Breaker character, having 2 range collisions is bad, but, I mean, it's fine. Like, it's not that big of a deal, honestly. It's not like she's going to be bad in her game mode. You're going to use her in this upcoming Limit Breaker. She's going to be good enough to get to stage 19. Not a good enough character to carry you all the way to, like, stage 30, potentially. Maybe if you have a good enough team. So, again, I don't mind Rangiku's kit, but it's definitely a bit weird given that she was a Limit Breaker character. So Rangiku and Yumichika deserve a 1000-year bottle unit, but no Shunsui. Does Shunsui do anything in Core 2? I don't think so. I definitely do agree that Shunsui from Core 1 should have got. That's this. Again, I said it last month. The one disappointing thing about 1000-year Blood 1, how they've been handling it, is that we just skipped over Core 1. Like, we seem to be focused on Core 2 right now. We're going to get a bunch of characters from Core 2, but why has Core 1 not gotten much love? We had, like, 3 banners from Core 1, and that was it? Really? Where's my Misaki and Ishin banner? Where's my Bankai Yamamoto? My Driscoll? So, how are we not getting Core 1? I know Core 2 is where all the hype is at, but there's still some good characters to get from Core 1. I wouldn't mind a Robert and Shunsui banner. I'd be down for it. Anything for Mummy Rangiku, but on a serious note, I actually like this banner. To me, it looks like they're trying to get the less hype 1000-year characters out the way before anniversary. Potentially. And that's one good thing too. You know, if we're going to get 1000-year Blood War potentially every end of month for the rest of the year, right? I think we're going to get a few cooldown months, but let's say hypothetically 8 out of the 12 end of month banners include 1000-year Blood War. It's good in a way to have those less hype 1000-year Blood War banners so we can skip them. Maybe get them at a later time. Maybe now wasn't the best time to do it though, because we haven't had a hype 1000-year Blood War banner since end of year, right? You know, maybe if last end of month was significantly more hype, if it was more than just 2 characters, maybe this cooldown month would have been a bit better. And then that could have been like a cooldown for next end of month, which might have a significantly more hype end of month selection of 1000-year characters. Then maybe it would make sense. But that's a decent way to look at it, right? I don't mind it though. I don't mind skipping banners, right? I can be excited for new characters and also skip them. Because if we ever do get back-to-back bangers, like some of the hypest fights from Core 2 back-to-back, it's going to be times like this where I'm glad I would have skipped banners, right? Seto Ice says, if they were able to do this, I'm still trying to figure out why they didn't put Bazby in the other banner, but this also gives the rest of Bambi's a whole banner. Again, at this point, you can do Candice, Giselle, and Old Little Toto. That would be a really cool banner for me personally. But yeah, Bazby should have been in last month banner if they were going to include Rangiku now. This is random, still is the Bambi's banner, I agree. It's good that they do this kind of mix of banner instead of skipping characters because they can't find a banner to fit them in. It's nice to get a serious version of Rangiku instead of fan service versions. To be fair, this Rangiku is also quite fan servicey. Not entirely, but I agree. I'm excited for an actual good canon Rangiku. Again, while her kit isn't the greatest, she's still going to be a good enough character, right? The characters are cool, but have Caleb lost their mind if they think these deserve end of month? Again, I'm going to back it. I don't think we should be getting mid-month 1000-year Blood War. So I personally don't mind it, but it is definitely an odd trio, right? A banner where everyone is broken in their own way, and I oddly like that. I agree. They only put Menina in here to get people to summon. I'll do 5 steps, but I don't really care about them. I don't know what Caleb are doing with these banners lately, but it's not it. I don't mind the last banners that we have been getting, at least when it comes to end of month banners. They haven't been like super mega hits, but they've just been okay. They've been good. But to be fair, there is always something they complain about, right? Like last end of month, 2 character banner, 1 was a Nad character. This end of month, the characters are good, but it's just a random selection, right? They have yet to like get a home run, at least in the year 2024. But again, I'm sure that time will come. Next month probably will be a massive hit. We'll have to wait and see though, right? I'm extremely happy that Yumichika finally got some love. I've been really disappointed with 1000-year banner skipping the Tresbestia and recently Rangiku. So seeing Rangiku and Yumichika get 1000-year characters is amazing. Menina being Braveheart character is nice, and Asobum not being the anime exclusive Vol standing form gives me hope that we might get another character in the future. Again, for Menina fans, look out for that. Definitely a potential second character coming our way eventually. I'm not sure how long though. Void Shadow says, I'm not really fussed about the character selection to be honest. Sure, it's a bit random, but realistically, when was there going to be a good time to drop a Yumichika? Rangiku I'm a bit salty on because she could have been in last end of months. But with her bringing a Limit Breaker character, she looks quite powerful, so I'm happy with that. And we needed a new lead for the Squad Zero Human GQ. So for it to be Yumichika is great since he's not a good character basically ever. Again, that's basically how I feel about it, right? Yumichika, he was always going to be just like that filler spot. Maybe the problem with the banner, ultimately, is that, I mean, Rangiku's a hype character now, right? But I feel like the main selling character is Menina. And then her being a Brave Battle character, maybe that's the ultimate flaw in this banner. Had she been like a power SP character, then it would have been a lot more exciting, if that kind of makes sense. I would like to think Rangiku's the selling point, but I think the Menina character here is the main like selling character. And her being the Brave Battle character is probably the biggest problem with this banner, right? We literally needed 3 of the Bambis, which is the exact amount for a full banner, and then they throw Meninia out on her own. What the hell is wrong with them? Well, remember, there's 4 Bambis that are going to get new characters, right? At least anime characters, 5 including Bambi, but she'll, again, probably get put with Sergeant and Shinji. At least one would hope so. So imagine she gets put with Mayuri and then Zombie Torso. That'd be weird, right? But the way I see it, 1 Bambi had to get put on their own. I always thought it would be Candice, but I guess it's going to be Meninia. So maybe the next Bambi banner would be Candice, Giselle, and Little Toto. But then again, maybe their plan is to release all the Bambis separately, which would be kind of weird. I know Giselle would have worked by themselves. You know, you easily could have put Giselle with Zombie Toaster and then a Sunflower Mayuri. That would have worked as a banner. And then you could have done Candice, Little Toto, and Meninia. That would have worked. But maybe the plan is to do Candice, Little Toto, and Giselle. If they do release them all in the old banners, that definitely wouldn't be as cool, right? Like, I personally want all 3 of them to be in the same banner, because that would have got me to do 25 steps. Knucklefu, though, says, I think the card selection is cool, albeit random and funny. The units are good, but I really don't get Kaz's fit of releasing a strong power character. Like, if Yumichika was power, and then we got our next Limit Breaker power unit next month, the attribute could at least compete with Tech for 4th place. It is definitely a weird one. Like, our only good power character this year, did we have any power cards we've gotten this year? I don't think we've gotten that many. Iba and Toshiro, is that really it? It happens though, right? I've been playing this game for years. It happens. Sometimes one attribute just gets absolutely left in the dust, and right now, unfortunately, it's power. There'll come a time next year where maybe like Technique is the worst attribute, or somehow Mind ends up being the worst attribute. It happens, right? The saving graces that we know next month will give us that broken power character. Hopefully they're good enough though. I'm excited for Meninia. As much as I want to get Meninia though, I prefer if Little Toto and Giselle was here. Or even just one of them. Had been Little Toto here, would have summoned. Definitely agree. Again, I'm many pulling because I want all 3 characters. I'm a fan of them, and I can benefit on my account from getting them. And at most, I'm probably going to do 10 steps. And that's only because I haven't pulled in a few months, right? But yeah, if this was Giselle and Little Toto, or just 3 Bambis in general, I definitely would have done easily down to 0-25 steps. Cool characters, all deserving of their own units, but personally I wish it was something a bit more hype. So far, no banner this year has been next level, and whilst this banner is good, I just wish it had some more hype to it. Also, Yumichika end the month before Esnot is funny to me. I mean, Ubuntu, right? Ubuntu. But yeah, we definitely haven't gotten a home run banner this year. There's always just something wrong with the banner, right? Again, last month it was only 2 characters. Had it been 3, it would have been a good one. And then this month, while the characters are good, the selection is just weird. It's just random. RANGIKU and Yumichika should have been tag team characters. Missed opportunity. Kind of, right? Kind of. I would have liked to see a tag team. You know what I mean? Maybe Yumichika should have been, because like I don't see Kaku getting a character. I So I wouldn't have mind Yumichika getting a tag team. RANGIKU though, I prefer her getting her own character, because I feel like she deserves it. I don't think she just deserves to be tied up with, you know, Toshiro. So I'm personally just happy that RANGIKU finally got a new character, right? Harlem says RANGIKU was the prediction of mine since they didn't drop her last month, but Meninia and also Yumichika was a big surprise. I have to say that I'm not excited for any of the characters, but, and it's a big old but, I am impressed with their listed skills and the particular game modes that they're intended for. It would have been a skip for me if not for that. I'm glad they did get some love though, they deserve it, all the characters. I'm glad they did get some love though, because these characters do deserve it. With a similar comment here, finally giving some lieutenants some love. And you know what? Lieutenants do deserve it, because what that mid-month banner we got like a month and a half ago, outrageous. Outrageous. So to see lieutenants actually finally be good is kind of cool. We have Def saying RANGIKU scores are great. If her SA1, however, wasn't an 80% shave, and anything else like a beam or even the 40% shave like Esnot's, she would have been a very broken tier character. I agree. Had she had a better SA1, she might have been like SS tier, but instead, I'd probably say she's like an S tier character. Meninia being PvP character, And good Yumichika for GQ, that's quite bizarre, but I don't mind at all. We now have a good version of him, Anikaku. Just a broken little girl actually with an OP Kenny is all that's left to complete the squads. Banner-wise, very odd placement since both Yumichika and RANGIKU had nothing to do with Meninia. Yeah, like I said, I think most of us agree it's quite random, right? Jonas says, Caleb never failed to disappoint. Now we're only getting characters for specific game modes and not just get good and fun characters. I don't really know what they mean by that, because like I mean, to be fair, Limit Breaker is like, yeah, they're designed for Limit Breaker, but at the same time, they also end up being some of the best and most fun characters in the game, right? And we've always had characters, this isn't new, we've always had characters designed for Brave Battles in GQ. Maybe now it's a bit more specific, you know, Yumichika getting Frenzy free only in GQ. But I mean, Frenzy plus 2 and his 120% SP boost is good enough outside of Guild Quests. Albeit his kit maybe isn't the greatest, but I mean, we just had Ichigo. over like, what, 2 months ago at this point, 3 months ago. Yuha 2, prime examples. Granted, they were end-of-year characters, but they were designed for Limit Breaker and also GQ, but they also just ended up being like some of the best and most fun characters in the game across every game mode. OPM says, based on how you look at it, on one side, the banner is great. You get the best character for their purpose, Brave Battle, Limit Breaker, and GQ, but if you don't like the characters, then the banner is alright. That basically pretty much sums it up perfectly, right? It's a good selection of characters in terms of what they offer. I don't think any character in this banner is bad, but, you know, the character selection is yeah, it's weird, it's weird. So with that said, I kind of just scrolled down, just looked at all the comments here. Most of us, again, as always, are kind of saying the same thing, right? It's a random assortment of characters, but I do want to touch on this comment right here. So this lad says, recently, 1,000 UR banners have become a bit underwhelming and the hype is starting to slowly vanish when you compare this banner with Unohana, Yamamoto, and Chojuro. They aren't even close to this hype. That's fair, but then at the same time, Chojuro, and Unohana, that was an anniversary banner, right? It's also at the same time big named characters. Unohana, Yamamoto, Chojuro was kind of just there. Comparing that to 2 lieutenants, right? Like, this banner can only be so exciting with 2 lieutenants in a banner. I wouldn't say the 1,000 Blood War banners are not hype enough now. It's just that, you know, the character selection isn't as good. And that's, again, the biggest problem with this banner, right? It's not really a bad thing. But, you know, let's not act like when Sergeant comes to the game, when we get potentially Bankai Shinji, Kenny, Gremmy, Rukia, Esno, those banners are going to be the big ones, and they're going to be safe for the right timing. I assume, again, you know, I get a lot of questions, when's Rukia and Esno coming out? I would assume, given that that's probably one of the most exciting things to come from Core 2, that would be saved for the 9th anniversary, most likely Part 2. You know, not every 1,000 you put a banner going forward is going to have 2 lieutenants, let's be honest, right? They kind of just got done now, they're out of the way. Maybe, you know, in a few months' time, maybe near the end of the year, whenever we might get a random, like, filler banner. Not filler banner, but, like, just a random set of characters, not, like, big names. And just because they're not big named characters doesn't mean they don't deserve to get 1,000 Yubado characters, right? We're going to have those moments, like we have every year, where we get some big banners. And we're going to get those moments that are, you know, not as big, but still good enough. And that's basically this banner right here. It's a random assortment of characters, but the characters are good. We have a good Limit Breaker character, while RANGIKU herself isn't really like the most amazing character. She's still good. Yumichika, great character for GQ. And then Meninia, a bit disappointed that she's Brave Battles, but she is a good Brave Battle character. Maybe a bit toxic, but when is Brave Battles ever not toxic, man? Like, we've been playing this game for years, right? It's always the same thing. It's a cycle. You just got to live with it. You just got to live with it. Either way, though, I'm looking forward to their release. Definitely will be doing a few summons on the channel. Which kind of says something because I haven't pulled at all this year, besides just the 2 discounted steps. So I definitely will at least be going to step 10, just to try and get my hands on these characters, because I'm a fan of RANGIKU and also Meninia. And while I'm not the biggest fan of Yumichika, I am happy to have him because he is a good GQ character, and I care about GQ. Either way, we have rambled on long enough. My voice is getting a bit dry. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Take care, and peace.